Welcome to the Spiritualogic Podcast with our host, Sanal Bhanu Rajan, a revolutionary spiritual thought leader who has redefined and redesigned spirituality for the modern era. In this podcast, you will learn more about a new method of spirituality and mind transformation that's logical and tangible for anyone to use and experience profound results. Get ready to hear real wisdom that'll make a difference. Learn how to shift your perspective in a way that matters, gain more abundant choices, and ultimately create the life that you would truly love to live. Make sure to follow Sanal on social media and enjoy the show.
Welcome everyone to the Spiritualogic Wisdom Talks. Let's begin, shall we? I would like to speak about some non-dual Tantra today. So because we hear a lot about Tantra and the connotations and associations with it, but seldom we hear much about the philosophical side of Tantra. So I would like to speak a little bit about that as we hear today. And I hope everyone would find something to take away from it. So Tantra, as the way we know, is really washed out quite a lot from commercialization for the purpose of sexualizing it a lot, because it brings a lot of money. So there's a lot of Tantra reads and a lot of stuff happening around the world. How to really bring about Tantra to our life, right? To our practical, everyday, moment to moment engagement with life. Tantra, in its very essence, the philosophy is a very strict pantheism. Are you guys familiar with what is pantheism? Pantheism is the belief that everything is God and God is everything. There's a differentiation. It's not monotheism where there is a God who created the world and there is no separation as such. Whatever is there, what's divine, everything is God and God is everything. And you bring about purification of your senses by bringing about this recognition each time you look at the world. When you are engaging in a conversation with someone, instead of thinking there is a person there, you are literally recognizing it's divine there. And notice what's the qualitative difference within yourself as you look at it that way. Notice how is the inner space like? You start to notice that there is way more kind of respect and reverence and appreciation and tolerance and space holding for whoever is there, rather than we just simply see just another person there out of the myriad of persons. And in strict pantheism, the belief is that since everything is divine, the will that moves our body is also divine. So meaning everyone is moved by the divine. And if that is the case, then there is not so much stuff to think, because so much stuff that we are thinking about is about separate doers doing separate things. What should I do? There is no. So in Sanskrit, the word is called ahamkara. Ahamkara means the idea that I am doing something. That is ego. To believe that you do something is ego. So when we are speaking about ego, well, literally, you cannot be seeing ego in someone if you don't have none. It's always a reflection. If you don't see yourself as a doer, then you're not going to see everyone as a doer and just hold themselves responsible and make yourself upset based on what others are doing and what should I do and listen to it, all sort of stuff. So the point is to recognize that everything is divine. If that is the case, whatever is happening in the moment, it's about relaxing into it, opening into the experience of what is happening. It's about developing an intimacy with the experience to the point where there is no such separation between that thing and you realizing that. So in traditional Sanskrit words, there is 5 functions in Tantra. There's 5 functions for awareness, or we can call it Shiva, because in non-dual, it was Shaivism. It was non-dual Shaivism that was practiced. So they saw everything as Shiva. So here Shiva we are speaking about pure consciousness, and Shiva does panchakriyas, means 5 holy acts of Shiva. So these are Srishti, Stithi, Samhara, Anugraha, Nigraha. So Srishti means creation, right? So creation in the sense that it's emerging. It's not really creation. It's more like how the waves emerge out of the ocean. So that's Srishti. Stithi means preservation, where you sustain whatever emerge for a mean period of time. And then it goes into Samhara, meaning dissolution or reabsorption. Samhara doesn't mean destruction, doesn't mean killing something, destroying something. It just simply means dissolution or reabsorbing something back to itself, like the ocean absorbs the wave back to itself. Now, at the moment when that happens, third act happens, there's possibility for two things. So either you will experience Nigraha or Anugraha. So here Nigraha means forgetting. It's about self-concealment, meaning you forget yourself in the experience. You forget the fact that you're awareness and you get absorbed by what you're aware of. And you think you are that which shows up in your awareness. You identify with that. So that's self-concealment, where awareness hides itself from itself. And there, or it can be a moment of Anugraha. Anugraha means grace, self-revelation. So it is a moment where you can come to the recognition, the moment where something, an experience, a cognitive experience has went down, has gone. That's a moment where for you to actually notice the ground of awareness. So this opportunity shows up for all of us every single day, quite a lot of times. But in that moment, if we just get on with further and further thinking, then we miss that moment. We start looking for happiness because we are not really able to experience the bliss of simply being aware. There is a bliss that comes from simply being conscious as opposed to being conscious of something. The bliss of simply being conscious, now that you cannot separate it. That's called as Chitananda. Ananda is the bliss, the joy that comes from self-recognition, Chit Shakti. And the light of awareness is, so together, is Chit Ananda. When you tap into yourself, there is always bliss, Ananda. To some degree, at least, you are able to experience. So even when the mind is quiet for some time, you would still experience a certain range of bliss, certain range of qualitative harmony. But that's just only a glimpse of what is really available when you can deepen, when you can let your mind silence into where it actually came from. So all cognitive experiences just emerges from and sustains and gets dissolution in the same place of awareness. So the recognition is also not the fact that that you are aware of these things that is getting created, but also that you are the author of it, meaning you are the creator of the creation that you are experiencing. So that's why they say Shivoham, I am Shiva, meaning all of these things, you are actually doing it every single day. You create, you sustain, and they get dissolved. This is happening. But when we identify with the objects in our awareness, then all of these ideas come to picture. Doership, birth, death, because none of it can be touched. None of it can really touch awareness. It's like everything that appears is like the image that appears on the mirror. So much stuff transformation happens for the images appearing in the mirror, but yet nothing really happens to the mirror itself. And you cannot really separate the image from the mirror. It's inseparable because it takes its source in it. So the same way, without you, there is no world. There is no body. The experience of body, the experience of the world comes out of you. It's not like you are living in the world and I go round and round living in the world until I just die someday. That's not the story. Even right now, there is no body. You are not bound by the body. But like the saying goes, you are what you think. You know, you can think, oh no, I am in the body. So in the body, and then you feel like, yeah. But otherwise, there is just the experience of the body in the field of awareness. The body is not really saying I'm you. It's more like you're saying it, that I am the body, or the body is mine. Body is never really saying I'm yours. But whatever you get identified with, there is always a trade-off happening, because it's like you are the screen, and the screen, and you get identified with whatever is happening in the movie. Now you think you are inside the movie. Now whatever is happening in the movie, you are going to be affected by it. So the very logic doesn't allow yourself to be at rest. No, there's a lot of upset because there's a lot of things that can threaten your existence, your like, and the most of the fears that we really have, it is just a fear of experience rather than fear of actual death or something. Because real life and death situation seldom actually shows up in front of us. Most of the fears that we feel has absolutely nothing to do with the actual life or death scenario. It's just a fear of experience. You feel, oh my God, this experience, the inescapability of it, getting afraid of that. So if you can just simply understand any experience, none of the experiences can really touch me. I'm untouchable, like the images appearing on the mirror. Whatever is the appearance, the mirror is untouched by it. The same way you are untouched by it, nothing is going to happen. And if you can bring about an equanimity, cultivate an equanimity when it comes to the range of experiences that's coming and going, then all of a sudden you will notice something. No experiences will stick. They will all just come and go. Because neurologically speaking, any emotion can actually only last for anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds without you participating with a lot of self talk, negative self talk, to keep prolonging the experience of that emotion. So, if you can bring about equanimity and there is no resistance to the very experience you're experiencing in the moment, then there is no suffering, because the experience itself doesn't cause suffering. It's the resistance to the experience that causes the suffering. So, oh, I cannot feel this. No, I cannot. This is too much for me. Then, yeah, that's the suffering stuff. It's more that kind of material. I don't want to feel this anymore. That's then you start to suffer. But awareness itself is just beautiful. Beautiful for you to just simply just abide in the understanding that I am aware, and these things, like I am doing things and I'm not doing things, you are way beyond that, because these are just ideas in relation to the body. Identifying with the body, you think, okay, I'm doing things or I'm not doing things, but none applies, because doesn't apply. Doings and not doings is not something, from a subjective point of view. There's no doing and not doing. You just, both are just see, just movements in the motionless reality. We speak about what shapes our very experience, our predictions, our evaluations, our judgments, our decisions. What shapes it? Time frame. The time frame through which we are looking at it, it shapes our experience. Meaning, time itself is just a measurement of change, right? If you just simply look at a fundamental level, what is time? It's a measurement of change. But what is more fundamental than time? But it's not really just only thoughts, right? We have all sort of experience, a range of experiences, sensory experiences. This that thought, of course, is there, but also you can have a range of experiences available. Mm. No, I'm speaking sensory experiences. Like we can have sensory experience without any thought activity, right? Like I can be thought free and still sitting here with a lot of sensory changes happening in front of me. So the time is more the measurement of change. So if there's a lot of stuff happening, then that gives me the impression of time. If there is literally nothing happening, it doesn't give me much of an impression of time. So that's so on a fundamental level, time is a measurement of change. So basically, there is no time without a reference frame. It's a reference frame. That's all there is to it. And you are choosing the time frame, but most of the time it is happening by default. Not most of the time. all the time. It's happening by default. So that's where you have power and leverage. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be just default. But you don't have to always go and change the time frame. But only when you get stuck. Only when the experience is just not bringing out anything good. Or you can always just change the very experience you're having by shifting the time frame, the beginning and the ending point of that experience. Because any experience, if I ask you, oh, how did it all begin? And there's some point that you have chosen, but it's not really like you have chosen, it's unconsciously chosen by default. But once you have brought it back to conscious, then it can be changed. It doesn't have to be represented in that way where that's the beginning point and that's the ending point, and that's that. And you make up a whole sense about it. But instead, now you can open it up. You choose the beginning and the ending point instead of some random choosings. See, not just the reaction, we choose the internal representation of that experience itself. Because if I'm thinking, let's just say I have an experience, so I'm thinking about it. So there's probably going to be a sequence of images or a sequence of events or small movie reels or something running when I access the memory. Yeah. So that very thing will have a beginning point and an ending point, which when it runs out to the ending point, it will just come back and to the beginning and just run again. That's how memories work. And usually when people have traumatic memories, it's usually the ending point is mostly the worst moment or something like that. And that's why it's just they go back because it's just the memory is not complete. It's not perfect. They cannot let go. There's a lot of charge there. So if they can just extend down that beginning and ending point, who said that was the beginning point? Who said? What if the whole life was a preparation for that moment? What if you were doing, it was lifetimes of preparation for that challenge? You don't know. You don't really know. So then you can also extend the ending point from that whatever point you chose, which makes the experience really bad. The very experience that gets created inside bad by shifting. That's not the end. Who said that's the end? Like, so you now move the internal representation of it, of the thing, whatever it is.
That we have and all of your own experiences you have totally fully aware of the now.
No, this is if you are struggling with the memories or things like that. This is some sort of a resource, a tool that you can use to shift and transform and let go.
Can it say all the possibly
No, we cannot do all of it. We have to take one by one because an experience is just one. If I tell you, okay, tell me an experience, so you're going to be, that particular one will have a beginning. That particular one will have an ending where you go, okay, then that was it. Or you'll tell, oh, I will tell, okay, and then what happened? And then what happened? Oh, yeah, that was it.
the first
Mhm.
the time frame okay, so that experience is not touching. And the point depends on the person.
Exactly. But they are not really
That's
choosing it.
happened 1 year, 3 years, our life.
Exactly. Some people can be just stuck with their entire memory. So there are people who are traumatized by their memory for 20 years, 30 years. It's not new. They're already there out.
The question
Mm.
taking that almost outside of a lot of experience touching us, we work on them and they are finished. So what that say of now if I'm having another experience?
It is a new experience that's actually happening right now. The truth is, from an experiential point of view, there is only now. You do not get to have an experience in the past or the future. It's only now. It's always the forever now background in which we simply have new experiences. So it's just the time, like we said, it's just simply a measurement. It doesn't really exist other than as a reference frame that we use in order to have experiences and perspectives and make decisions and have like that. So it's not really even primordial to time is space, because without space there is no time, because time is a measurement of change and change happens in space. So You understand?
But
There's
right,
correlation between these things.
it's like right now, also attach the things I already past experiences I had. It's like the other life. Like
And you mean who is
now
attached?
it's always shaped our thoughts that we had. Like worked on them or worked on that, they will touch our life. This
It depends on what is really happening in this very moment. Because the truth is, memory, all memories, none of it is real. Memories are like an artificial synthetic process. It's an ongoing process, meaning you have to really engage with your brain because the visual elements that you remember from that stuff and the auditory element, all of this is stored in different places. So your memories are not relived, it is reconstructed. So you have to reconstruct right now in the present. It's not the experience that you really had in the past because you had changed, because everything is changing all the time. Change is totally constant. So you have to also recreate in your mind a past self who was probably at a different age and all of that stuff. But that's not the real you that was there experiencing the experience in the moment. Yeah, exactly. But that is a fresh emotion in this moment. It has absolutely nothing to do with that moment because even if you represent it, you probably can recall that you didn't have. You probably chose very particular moments, highlight moments from it,
how can I know that
from the quality of the experience. If the experience is you don't like it, you don't love it, you're having suffering it, it's bad.
it's actually thing I'm having?
Yeah, exactly. From the feeling you get, that's just because
Feelings now.
exactly.
It's
Then you look into it. Okay, what is really happening here? So then you look at it. So probably you have some images in the head. If it is memory, even if it is future, there would also be images like just imagination in that sort of way. Then you can see what all is probably some ideas going on. And usually, if there is no particular identification with these ideas, you're not going to feel anything. You're not going to take the thoughts seriously. But it's when some thoughts come, you suddenly feel like a Velcro effect, a gluing effect of body sensation glued to the idea. And that idea shows up when you feel something in your body. And then you feel like, oh, it's not just a thought. There must be something more to this thought than just it's just a thought. Because usually I don't feel like this. But the truth is, it's just that stuff. It's just glowing happened. It's about you, and it gives you the impression that it is saying something about you. It's saying something about you. That thought. It's about my safety or something I have to be careful about or something. The truth is, you just have to separate that sensation and that thought. You need to see the thought for the thought, and you have to. Yeah, for then it is about catching yourself in the moment as you are engaging with the pattern and ask yourself, is this what I really want? Is this behavior giving me all that I want right now? Because that's the way you can disenchant yourself from that pattern. Because usually when you come to the point, there is like this kind of good feeling that you have, but it is more like after it. But and in the moment of compulsion, you don't really feel like that good feeling. It's more like afterwards. So you have to ask yourself, catch yourself in the moment and ask, is this what I really want? Is this feeling giving me all that I want to feel right now? This is what I really want. Do I love it? So you ask that, and usually it's no. And if you get disenchanted at that point, then the chances of you engaging with the next step in the pattern behavior is less. It's usually when that gets unquestioned, goes to the next before you have the. So it's about asking yourself, being mindful and asking, is this what I really want in the moment? For example, maybe it's just a thought, even thought of doing something, not even the actual point of you coming to doing that, but the moment you're thinking about doing that. And you are even question yourself this. Oh, is this what I really want to feel? Because probably you're going to feel some particular way in that very moment too, as you're thinking about doing that. Yes, okay, this is what I want to be. And you can, so that's the way you can disenchant yourself from patterns, destructive patterns, meaning things that you really want to get out from. You can clearly see there is no benefits. It's not really bringing out the best in you. It's just more like you show up at your worst. And
Sometimes you want growth. Sometimes you want growth.
what do you mean?
Sometimes in life you have sweat action. But I know it's bad from my side, for example. But I know I'm having that because of another feeling of loneliness or keep myself in touch. Even if I know that situation is bad for me, I know the feeling what I get from it, it's
Mhm.
after the time comes, oh, now is enough, enough. Let's move on.
Yeah, I guess it is a point of which problem I'm more comfortable with having at that point. It's our problem, but I guess I will just
I would
deal with this one
one.
rather than this, that. Yeah, but that is a good attitude. You must always know that there is always going to be problems. There's always just whatever life you're living, there's always going to be some set of problems, but it's just about trade offs and which problems you are more comfortable with living than others. The trade off of problems rather than having no problems.
People.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody will hurt you, but words when hurting you, like stay in my life, no, you don't stay in my life. You have as good as bad, like more as the bad things, or more bad thing as the good thing. As I choose. Let's take this.
So, with the tantric path, you only discern your own awareness, nothing else. Knowing that there is unending bliss there, because the thing is, the bliss that you get from objects appearing in awareness is very limited by its very nature, and we know that from our experience of living. Otherwise, we wouldn't want new things. We would just be having unending joy from the thing that we have, right? We had to let go and just find new things, right? So the point is, the bliss that you get is very limited in nature. The bliss you come from self-recognition, you get from self-recognition, being yourself, being awareness, resting as awareness. Now that bliss is so much higher because it is unobstructed bliss. It's not unlimited bliss or joy that we get from the objects or the forms or the things that we flourish. They cannot give that kind of joy. It's very small. And when you are really imbibed and just really immersed in that ananda, then none of this would be a big deal either. Because it's all a big deal because you're not happy. And you're really happy, none of it is a big deal, actually. So, personal, when you're also not happy. When do people take things personally? When they are feeling absolutely livid and joyful about life, they're just not happy. They're just not happy, and then everything is a problem. You find problem. You find reasons to be upset. Probably there are other people who have the same thing, and they just are absolutely doing absolutely nothing, taking away no life quality from them. But you're like, oh, that's a problem. This is everything because you think the happiness also comes from outside. So you do believe that it can be taken out by these things too, because you got it from outside, right? So it can be taken. It can also be gone like that. So that kind of happiness is not worth having. So better don't chase that kind of happiness. Depends on coming and going. There's a kind of happiness that doesn't come and go, and it's always there. As soon as you just surrender yourself, know that you're not the doer, you're doing nothing. Not even that you're not doing nothing, it's all the divine. But when that thought comes like that, you fall for it. Or you say,
Somebody
well,
to learn comprehend as much as you can about how
Mm.
we have happiness inside. That
no, it's about not one time. It's about the student asks the teacher, is it the journey or the destination that's the most important? And the teacher said, it's the company that's the most important. Let's just say that guy, he comes to me every day, he wouldn't be in that place. If he's, of course, walking around and just hearing bullshit all the time, yeah, that's going to be the case. So that's why satsang, the word guru, is a combination of two words, gu and ru. Gu means ignorance or darkness, and ru means destroyer. So guru means the destroyer of darkness. Yeah, that's something new. For a long time I run away from my thing, and because of this whole stigma around the word guru and all of that. But now I embraced it. I'm like, it's nice. It's just a spiritual logic guy for quite some time, but it's nice. And if you guys have any burning questions you would like to ask, or anything that feels that you want to ask. If there's only one thing that I want you to take away, just know that your awareness and you're neither inside nor outside. You're everywhere. And there's very little things that you need actually to be happy. Most of the stuff that your mind says that you need to be happy is not really necessary. We know that from all the false promises that it has so far made, that we have reached the point that it always ends up lacking. So now that's point. Like, okay, maybe I'm just, no, it's just a monkey mind. You just jump, 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 jump. Yeah.
But everybody's talking about happiness and sublime.
Everybody?
When companion.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
So let's say I am a really unaware person.
Unaware person.
Unaware person.
What do you mean by unaware person?
Unaware of myself, of my thoughts, of anything. I just go with my life.
Okay.
And I want to be aware. So when I try, first things start.
Mm.
I want to.
Okay. The first thing to start with is start doing a particular practice where you just declare gone when an experience is over. Just simply say gone. And the next time also, just say gone. So doing this, it actually makes it clear that experience by its very nature is transient, it's temporary. It means absolutely nothing. It can never do anything to you. You cannot, the ocean cannot be afraid of the wave. The basic premise is that there's enough space for all the waves to just run around and play around and just go back.
That's the answer of an aware person.
That's the answer?
Aware person.
Yeah, the thing is...
So, the unaware person will not even understand what I say right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm just sitting here. If the unaware person make it here, I would imagine he has enough awareness to know that it is important. So that's why first thing I did was just appreciating for the time that you choose to spend here, because that means something. And so it's about all choices. You could be probably engaging in all sort of ways.
No, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody wants to.
No, if they ask me, if they ask me, I would, first of all, I will ask them, are you open for change? That's the first thing I would ask. Because if they are not really open for change, there's not much things I have to do. I don't have much business there anyway. Because they must want change. They must seek change. They must want transformation. So if the unaware person has enough awareness to seek for transformation, I think they're already break through that plateau where we can just call them just unaware person.
Actually, he came and asked.
Yeah.
So he wants.
Yeah. So then I think I think he's right at that point, because he's realizing, I don't know.
Do what?
There is nothing he should do. Yeah, I would start with many things, I guess. I don't know. It would depend on the moment, because right now it's an artificial, it's an imagination where an unaware person coming, but there is no context, there is no phenomenology of my being. It's just I had to artificially imagine. I would work with them where they are at. And I imagine people are at different places. And I would just ask them, yeah, brother. Then I would just simply ask them to, if they're open, they would to come and just associate the company. Just listen to me speak. Just more and more. That's the point. Because I have done it with people and they have completely transformed in profoundly different ways. So I have experiential evidence that is true. I have experiential evidence, meaning like I have actually worked with people and have transformed people over the course of time. And it's just a matter of just listening. just listening more, the morphogenetic field of the person influences someone. We are all social, psychosocial creatures. We are influencing each other psychosocially. The psychosocial influence that I would yield upon the people who are listening to me speak regularly is very different from someone who just one-off incident just coming and listening and just going by them. So if they are coming back again and again, they get more and more influenced by that. They're gonna, yeah.
The experiences don't change. It's different.
No, I didn't say experience is separate from you. Did I say experience is separate?
So I'm
No, I'm saying in a strict Pantheism point, everything is divine. So even if you have any experience in the moment, you can just simply see that also as divine. And there is more tolerance and like a space holding for the experience rather than you put it into, oh, that's this emotion. Oh, I don't like to feel that way. And that's just, yeah, then the emotion. So it's about bringing in equanimity. Cultivating equanimity is all that is necessary to reduce the amount of suffering. Because the truth is, the experience that we are having, experiencing every day, it causes no suffering, regardless of whatever the experience is. It's simply the resistance to the experience that causes suffering. So all you have to cultivate is equanimity with it. And for that, you have to just come to the point where you can see that the experiences are transient and they are temporary in nature. So that's the exercise that I told her, where you sit for half an hour and just simply acknowledge and say gone when you have, let's just say you have a bunch of a pain. If a pain is being experienced in your body, the moment the pain is reduced, you say gone, because that experience is gone.
It's gone.
It's a new experience.
Right.
You get it.
That-
You get it. And then you can do that with the thoughts too. The moment the thought is gone, the moment the emotion is there, it's gone. And sense of uncomfort is there, that's gone. You're acknowledging the gone. But there is a moment where the moment you notice the gone, you're not saying, you're not forcing an experience to go. Okay? You're simply acknowledging the moment it's naturally gone. Just like a wave naturally, finally gets reabsorbed. There is a moment it gets naturally reabsorbed and you're acknowledging that moment gone. So you're just bringing in this sort of like fear around experiences, just to take that out, so that then you can actually have an more pleasant experience with experiences in general, like how you would go and watch a movie and you would still experience a rich variety of emotions, but there is an element of enjoyment with the range of emotions that you experience rather than the realities too much of overwhelm around it. Because you know it's all okay. I'm safe. Whatever happens, I'm okay and I can handle it and I will handle it. So that's an idea that I would encourage you guys to ground yourself in. Whatever happens, I'm okay and I can handle it. Because most of the times the idea is, oh my God, if that happens, I cannot handle it. This happens, I cannot handle it. So just choose yourself to ground in that idea. Whatever happens, I'm okay. That takes away the threat factor. Make new neurological reasons. Because if you don't have that, then you're not going to have that. So just having it's an ongoing process, guys. There's only quite some stuff that I can do in an 1 hour time. So if you guys are really interested, just reach out to me and watch my material, watch my podcast. There are people who actually watch it and has experienced some profound difference at this point, coming and telling me, or do coaching with me, whatever is possible with you guys. At the least capacity, you can just leave your emails here so that I will be sending a free ebook to all of you guys. I guess that is it. Reaching around time. Is there any questions? Final questions?
Go on.
Hmm?
Yeah.
I tried. So simply because you usually feel if that happens, it's going to be forever. That's the feeling, even though we know everything goes, still we have this kind of extreme fear around some things, some point. Oh my God. Oh, I don't want that happening. If that experience happened, then you'll be no more. And you're going to get destroyed. But the truth is, the nervous system itself actually orients itself based on what you have in your mind. So if you imagine some really terrible scenario going to happen, the nervous system is going to prepare itself as if that's the goal that you're going towards. And that you really don't want that. Because the body is time bound. It cannot mind how it can just go to the memories and the imagination about future and stuff. The body itself is time bound. It's always in the now. So body experience everything as if it's happening right now. Nervous system doesn't know past and future. Just simply experience now. So you can imagine really it's some bad stuff happening. So it's about having that acknowledgement. Whatever I'm imagining is not really happening right now. But that awareness gets lost when you get absorbed in whatever you're imagining. It's the play of attention. That's the thing. Attention is the thing that lets something create and stay and finally just dissolve. Because the moment you take away the attention, it's gone. That thing is gone from yes, and then you can either be aware you are that which from which all of it takes source, all of the cognitive experiences, the emotion, sensations, body, all sensory experience, it's all if you can bring in that is all divine, then it's over. Because the separation is that's how you purify your senses, and that is an ongoing process. You can be with a person and you know the feeling which you see them as inferior to you. And you're like sympathizing and trying to help them. And you feel superior. Or you can immediately say, no, it's the divine too. Like I'm divine and they're divine. So then there's something that changes. Just experiment today. However you associate the divine with whatever word it is, or it can be just the divine, God, whatever it is. Just know that it's just appearances in awareness, because you cannot have something where awareness doesn't reach, right? Whatever you're aware of appears in awareness, and it cannot be anything apart from awareness. So like no matter how the variations of the waves, how they look like uniquely different, they are also the same. Take source from the same place. You're good. Everything is good.